Bro, the subgenre of punk rock turned 50 years old back in April when we celebrated the 50th anniversary of the debut Ramones record. Now, that celebration is going to continue on forth because John Travolta, of all people, is throwing a big Ramones shindig. And in order to celebrate this big Ramones anniversary thing, he's putting together a supergroup. Well, I don't know if John Travolta should be credited for putting together this supergroup, but a supergroup is coming together to play this John Travolta-related Ramone show, and this supergroup includes Billie Joe and Tim Armstrong, not related, from two separate bands, both from the East Bay, Green Day and Rancid respectively, and Travis Barker is of course going to be attached to this whole project. But they are allowing one member of the Ramones into the supergroup. Not Marky, not Richie, but CJ Ramone is going to join this supergroup to play bass. This thing is ridiculous, and today we're going to break down this entire story. But before we do, my name is Dan Frampton, all one word, the O's a zero. You know who I am. I'm the internet's most ruthless gatekeeper, and I like all those likes and subscribes. So hit all those buttons down below, and let's talk about this ridiculous situation, bro. I had a whole other video planned because there was no real news, at least on my radar. So I was talking about other things. Hellfest was going on. There's a bunch of different clips, and I'm still going to be making that video. But today we're going to be talking about the Ramones. And as always, this video is brought to you by my comic books. Link in the description. All right, for this story, we're going to go over to the Rolling Stone magazine online for this thing that says the following: Green Day's Billie Joe Armstrong to front punk supergroup honoring the Ramones. This is crazy. Billie Joe Armstrong is the only name that they're putting in the headline. This thing has Travis Barker. I wonder how Travis Barker feels that Billie Joe Armstrong was the name mentioned in this headline. He must be rolling around being like, I'm more famous. Why is Billie Joe over there? I am the famous one. And actually, I should fact check that real quick. Let's go to Instagram. We're going to use it as a fame barometer and see Travis Barker over here with 8.2 million, pretty famous. And it looks like Billie Joe Armstrong is too famous for Instagram. So let's check their respective bands. Blink-182 with a respectable 3.4 million, and Green Day coming in with a whopping 7.5 million subscribers. And that makes a lot of sense. I think that Green Day is a much better, much more relevant band, and I think their breakthrough to the mainstream is more impactful than Blink-182's. There wouldn't have been a Blink-182 without a Green Day. But Travis Barker has more followers than Green Day, you know? So my point remains that Travis Barker must be seething and writhing, sweating, in tears, mad as hell that he's not in this headline over here. I bet Tim Armstrong doesn't really care at all. He's like, yeah, you guys can have the spotlight. You guys fight for that all you want. And then CJ Ramone, I bet, is just happy to be there. That's fucking awesome. He's going to go to this John Travolta party. We'll be getting into John Travolta's involvement here in a little bit too. We got this article to read. All right, and then the subtitle says, Cretin Family featuring Armstrong, Blink-182's Travis Barker, Rancid's Tim Armstrong, and Ramones bassist CJ Ramone will play LA August 30th to celebrate the Ramones' 50th anniversary. All right, interesting. That should be pretty good. I know how much the Ramones means to Tim Armstrong. I've heard Green Day play Ramones songs in the past, so that should be fine there. But those are big shoes to fill, okay? And I'm going to be watching. You know I'm going to be tuning in with the highest of analytical viewing. You got the biggest punk rock stars out there in the world coming together to play the most influential punk band's music of all time. So, my God, it's gotta be absolute peak. And if it falls short of absolute peak, then it's going to be the worst thing ever. It's one or the other, you know? And there's going to be no room for in between. It's going to be like, oh my God, these rock stars ruined the Ramones, or it's going to be a loving tribute with a lot of replay value. But I'm just not exactly sure which way this is going to go. The article continues. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Ramones' debut LP. To celebrate the punk milestone, the official Ramones 50th anniversary tribute will take place August 30th at Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. Okay? All right. How is this not happening in New York? Why is this happening in LA? Why is the Ramones thing happening in LA? Well, that's going to have to do with famous Scientologist John Travolta here in a moment, okay? Back into the article. It will feature the debut performance of Cretin Family, a punk supergroup comprised of blah, 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 blah. We already went through all this. Proceeds from the show will benefit Dr. David Agnes's cancer research at Ellison Institute Research Foundation. Beautiful. Love that it's all going to a good cause. That's all good. That's all dandy. Big fan of all that. Diving back into the article, it says, quote, "The spirit of the Ramones is alive in every backyard punk show, punk club, and festival," Billie Joe Armstrong said in a statement. "Generation after generation of cretins and weirdos become Ramones lovers. Kids are influenced by the Ramones, and they don't even know it yet. Viva la Ramones." I don't know where this statement was. It just says Billie Joe said it in a statement, so I'm gonna take their word for it. They have journalistic integrity over there at The Rolling Stone. Their article continues. "The sentiment is echoed by Barker. The Ramones are the blueprint. Punk rock wouldn't be what it is today without them. I'm honored to celebrate 50 years of one of the greatest bands ever." Tim Armstrong then said, "From the moment I first heard the Ramones, music was never the same." I mean, that's how much the Ramones means to Tim Armstrong. I don't think Tim Armstrong would exist today if it wasn't for the Ramones. Reggae and the Ramones were basically Tim Armstrong's religion growing up. Then CJ Ramone pipes in and says, "This is going to be the biggest celebration of the Ramones anyone has seen in a long time." That implies that there was a bigger celebration sometime. Take that up with John Travolta. I still can't believe that John Travolta is the man putting this stuff together. Yes, John Travolta, that John Travolta, Grease Lightning, you know, world famous Scientologist. The event will be hosted by John Travolta and will feature a 50th anniversary screening of Travolta's 1976 movie, Carrie. His new movie, Propeller One-Way Night Coach, will be screened as well. 2 years ago, I had the pleasure of experiencing the Hollywood Forever Johnny Ramone tribute for the first time, Travolta said in his statement. "It was a blast, and I want to return again for the Ramones tribute, with showing something new, my directorial debut, Propeller One-Way Night Coach." What a name for a film, Propeller One-Way Night Coach. I might have to watch it, since it's celebrating the Ramones. I don't know if the film is celebrating the Ramones. He's just throwing a Ramones party as an excuse to make a bunch of Ramones fans watch his movie for some reason. I love it. It's great. I don't know if one has to do with the other. I really don't think that one does have to do with the other. This is fantastic. John Travolta, cognitive dissonance at its finest. Hollywood going strong with its self-awareness. Then Travolta goes on to say, "It's going to be a fun night. See you there." A fun night, you say? The supergroup of all supergroups is coming together, and all you got to say is that it's going to be a fun night, and then you're going to use it as an excuse to show people your little film? Do you guys know what John Travolta looks like these days? Because he decided to be a director, he's like, what do directors like? Directors like berets. So he's got this like collection of berets going on, being like, I just want to accessorize. Women have all sorts of fun ways of expressing themselves through clothing, and men just don't have all that. So I'm gonna rock some berets. And he's already got like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 different berets out there with a nice manicured beard. And he's doing it completely, wholeheartedly, in earnest. None of this is a joke. He's like, I'm a director now. It's time to look like a director. I saw some old photographs, he said. And those old photographs had directors with little glasses and these berets. So I went out and I got myself some glasses and some berets. It's incredible, dude. You can't make it up. And this is the guy, John Travolta, in this era of human being, is putting together the Ramones tribute. This is the guy celebrating 50 years of the Ramones. And do I have to say this again? The launch of that first Ramones record is kind of the touchstone that marks the beginning of punk rock music. And John Travolta, in his beret, is throwing a red carpet Hollywood premiere party to celebrate the Ramones. Incredible. I love it. And it can either be so fun and weird, or it could be a total shit show. Like I said, it's going to be one or the other. And either way, I think is a win for a content creator like me. I kind of hope it goes horrendously. August 30th. My God, I want to be there so bad. There's no way I can. I got to see that supergroup. Is it going to be live streamed? Is it going to be televised? Is it going to be recorded and packaged and sold to us at a later date? I need to know. The article continues. The Ramones dissolved in 1996 after 22 years of non-stop touring. Lead singer Joey Ramone died in 2001, followed by bassist Dee Dee Ramone in 2002, guitarist Johnny Ramone in 2004, and drummer Tommy Ramone in 2014. Oh my fucking God, bro. Yeah, that lays it all out. And CJ's over there like, still kicking, bro. Still kicking. Does Howard Stern want to do an interview with me anytime soon? The entire original lineup may be gone, but drummer Marky Ramone, who played with the band from 78 to 83, and again from 87 to 96, keeps the music alive with Marky Ramone's Blitzkrieg. All right, so Marky Ramone is being left out of this, and I bet 100% that Travis Barker is going to overplay these songs. He's going to be putting in all sorts of little fills, all sorts of little doo-wops and rat-tat-tats, you know, he's going to be in there with some little paradiddles. Oh, check me out on my little ride and my hi-hat over here. Diddly-diddly-diddly-diddly-doo. No. And then Marky Ramone over there, also still alive, is going to be like, no, too much playing. Stop with all the playing, Travis Barker. I can't wait for the big Ramones drum solo in the middle of the set. Diving back into the article, drummer Richie Ramone, who was in the band from 83 to 87, and CJ Ramone, who took over on bass duties from Dee Dee in 89, also have their own touring bands that focus on Ramones classics. Of course they do. If you're associated with the Ramones, you gotta be out there milking that for as much as you can. But CJ is the only one invited into the supergroup, which is awesome. Great. Gatekeeping fucking Ramones members out of the band performing at the 50th anniversary. Dude, it's hilarious. It is so funny. There's one hand where I'm like, hey, you can't do that. That's awful. But they're not really the original members. You know what I mean? They're not really the Joeys and the Johnnies out there. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Kind of dramatic, actually, too. All right, the article concludes. When the Ramones were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2002, months after Joey died, Green Day performed in their place, ripping through Teenage Lobotomy, Rockaway Beach, and Blitzkrieg Bop. There are other members of the Ramones. Why does the world think that Joey was the only Ramone? It was all these other Ramones. They could have had the Ramones play, but with somebody else singing. But no. Oh, he's dead. Let's just get Green Day then. Come on! Literal walking legends, parts of the Ramones, and they're just being left out of this sort of stuff. To be honest, I find it funny. It isn't fair, and it's unjust, completely unjust, but it is kind of funny. Oh, we have more famous people that can play your music, actually. Fucking crazy. Crazy, dude. I bet they're going to have them in the front row wearing their little tuxedos, giving them a lower third. Original member of the Ramones, not playing here tonight. Incredible, dude. That shit is hilarious. But that's basically it. Okay, bye.